You've probably said sorry today without even realizing it. Sorry for asking, sorry for texting, sorry for existing a little too loudly. And maybe someone once told you, you apologize too much, as if it's a flaw, as if it means you're weak. But what if it's not weakness at all? What if constantly apologizing is actually a sign of deep awareness, emotional intelligence, and a strong desire to keep the world around you peaceful? Today, we're exploring the psychology of people who apologize for everything. Not to judge you, not to fix you, but to help you understand yourself more deeply and see your sensitivity as the strength it really is. Because most people who over-apologize didn't learn it by accident. They learned it to survive. Let's begin. First, many chronic apologizers grew up in emotionally unpredictable environments. Psychology shows that children who grow up around criticism, sudden anger, or emotional instability often develop appeasement behaviors. In simple terms, they learn to keep the peace by taking the blame. If you grew up never knowing when someone would be upset, if moods changed without warning, if love felt conditional, you may have learned that saying sorry quickly was the safest option, even when you did nothing wrong. So now, as an adult, your brain still follows that old rule. Apologize first. Stay safe. Avoid conflict. Example: you bump lightly into someone who wasn't even paying attention. Before they react, you're already saying sorry. Not because you're guilty, but because your nervous system wants peace. Reframe this. You're not insecure. You're adaptive. You learned how to read emotional weather and protect yourself early in life. That takes intelligence. That takes awareness. You survived by becoming emotionally skilled. Second, people who apologize a lot tend to be highly empathetic. Research indicates that empathetic people naturally feel responsible for emotional harmony. They notice discomfort faster than others. They sense tension before it's spoken. When something feels off, they instinctively try to repair it. With one word: sorry. Even if it wasn't their fault. Even if it wasn't about them. Example: a friend seems quiet. You immediately think, did I say something wrong? I'm sorry if I upset you. Meanwhile, your friend just had a bad day, but your mind goes straight to emotional repair mode. Reframe this. You're emotionally generous. You care deeply about how others feel. You don't want anyone to be uncomfortable around you. That's rare. In a world full of people who ignore emotions, you notice them. Your sorry is often another way of saying, I care about you. Third, over-apologizers often have a strong fear of being a burden. Psychology shows that people with low perceived self-worth often believe they take up too much space. They feel, I'm bothering them, I'm being annoying, I'm asking too much. So they apologize for normal human needs, for resting, for asking questions, for needing help, for having emotions. Example: sorry for venting. Sorry for texting. Sorry for taking your time. Sorry I'm like this. You're apologizing for being human. Reframe this. You are not a burden. Your needs are not an inconvenience. Your presence is not a problem. The fact that you worry about being too much means you're actually very considerate. People who are truly selfish rarely question themselves. You do. Fourth, many constant apologizers are perfectionists in disguise. Research on perfectionism shows that some people hold themselves to unrealistically high standards, especially emotionally. They feel responsible for everyone's comfort, everyone's mood, everyone's experience. So when something goes wrong, they assume it must be their fault, even when it's not. Example: a meeting feels awkward. You think, sorry, I made it weird. A conversation ends quietly. You think, sorry, I ruined the vibe. A project doesn't work out. You think, sorry, that's on me. You take emotional responsibility for everything. Reframe this. You care about doing things well. You want people to feel good around you. You want harmony. You want quality. That's not weakness, that's integrity. You just need to learn that not everything is yours to carry. Fifth, apologizing can be a way to avoid rejection. Psychology shows that people who fear abandonment often become preemptive pleasers. They apologize before others can criticize them. It's like saying, "I know I'm imperfect. Please don't leave." It's a subtle way of asking for acceptance. Example, you make a small mistake. Before anyone reacts, you say, "I'm sorry, I'm so stupid." You insult yourself first, hoping it softens judgment. Reframe this. You want connection. You value relationships deeply. You don't take people for granted. You're emotionally invested. That's beautiful. You just learned to protect relationships by shrinking yourself, and you don't have to do that anymore. Sixth, many people who over-apologize are emotionally self-aware. Research on emotional intelligence shows that self-aware people notice their impact more than others. You reflect, you analyze, you think about how you come across. So you're quick to apologize, not out of weakness, but out of responsibility. Example, you notice you spoke sharply because you were tired. Later you say, "I'm sorry, I didn't mean to sound harsh." That's maturity. Reframe this. You take accountability. You're not defensive. You're not arrogant. You're open to growth. That's emotional strength. Not everyone has that. So if you apologize a lot, here's the truth. You are likely sensitive, thoughtful, emotionally intelligent, protective of peace, deeply caring. You learned early that relationships matter. You learned early that emotions matter. You learned early that safety matters. And sorry became your shield. But here's what you deserve to learn now. You don't have to apologize for existing. You don't have to earn space. You don't have to shrink to be loved. You can replace some of your sorry with "Thank you for waiting. Thanks for understanding. I appreciate you." Not because you're wrong for apologizing, but because you're allowed to stand tall too. Your sensitivity is not a flaw, it's a skill. It's emotional literacy in a world that often lacks it. And when you learn to balance that sensitivity with self-respect, you become unstoppable. So if this video felt like it was describing you, I want you to know you are not weak, you are not annoying, you are not too much, you are deeply human. And that is powerful. If you want more psychology insights that help you understand yourself, not criticize yourself, subscribe to this channel. You deserve to see yourself clearly, not through shame, but through truth.